everybody, how y'all doing today? It's Hyper Mario 24. Welcome back to another Hyper Talks video. Now if you're new here, this is a little series I've made where I talk about things that aren't always about Nintendo or Wario. In today's case, it's a movie I've been meaning to talk about for a while now, and that is the Super Mario Galaxy movie. And I'm sorry it took me a while to get to this video. I didn't actually go and see it in theaters when it came out. I actually waited until it came out digitally so I could watch it with my roommates. Mostly because I just had a lot of stuff going on, so did my roommates, and we all wanted to watch it together, but we just didn't have enough time to go to the movies. So, and we were kind of glad that we didn't go see this movie in theaters because, well, jumping the gun here, we didn't really like this movie that much. I mean, it was fun like the last movie, but I think I like the first movie more than this movie, despite it being the second movie and all that, which I will get into why that is in a bit. But let's recap on what I felt about the first movie before getting into the Galaxy movie. Now, I talked about the first movie like a few years ago on another Hyper Talks video, I believe. But I thought the movie was fine for a video game adaptation. I think it did Mario, Luigi, and the other characters pretty well. I mean, nothing amazing. I still have issues with the movie. Like, my number one issue was its pacing and how nothing just can stand flipping still for more than a minute. But, you know, it's still a fun time. You know, it's filled with references of Nintendo's history and games and Mario and all that stuff. So, you know, if you're a Nintendo fan, especially a Mario fan, you'll definitely find some enjoyment out of it. I just don't think it's like an amazing movie or anything like that. You know, it's nothing that really rocked my socks off or anything. Like, again, it was fun to go through. Like, it had some scenes I did enjoy, but I haven't really gone back to watch the movie since then. So it's just like, it's just an okay movie for me. It's not bad, but it's just like, I can watch it, but I just really feel no reason to go back and watch it, unfortunately. And the same is true for the Galaxy movie, unfortunately. Despite one of my favorite characters being in this movie, but I'll get into that in a sec. I want to talk about the story for a bit. And also, I'm going to be going full spoilers here. If you have not seen this movie, please don't watch this video. I appreciate you being here, but I don't want to spoil the movie for you if you haven't seen it yet. So go watch that movie first and come back here if you want to share your thoughts and opinions about the movie in the comments below. But with all that said, let's start from the beginning. So the movie kicks off with Rosalie in the Comet Observatory, and by the way, I'm going to try and get through this as fast as possible, and I'll share my issues with the story in a bit after I'm done. So just to give you the heads up. So anyways, Rosalie's in the Comet Observatory. She's reading a bedtime story with the Lumas about Princess Peach and the Mushroom Kingdom. But then Bowser Jr. suddenly knocks on the door and wants to take her away because he wants her powers for some reason. But then she gets captured and a Luma tries to save her, but, you know, that Luma ends up getting knocked back by Junior and such. So they end up going to this weird planet called Planet Bowser that apparently Junior's been working on some time off screen. But as we get near the planet, Rosalina ends up having the strength to suddenly break off her chains and to fight off the Koopas to save her Luma. And she ends up getting captured again. So we head back to the Mario Brothers, who meet up with Yoshi and Tosarena from Odyssey. And they immediately get together, you know, because Yoshi's a friendly dude, you know. He's got no problems with meeting new people. I do kind of wish they had some conflict with them getting along, you know, but, you know, it's like, it's Yoshi, he gets along with everybody, so it's just like, it's whatever. But, you know, they end up, after that, they go to Peach's birthday party, and, you know, which doesn't end up being a Star Festival, if some people may think, it's just a birthday party, but Mario goes to see Peach as she's hanging out on the roof, but she doesn't like her birthday because it's not really her birthday. It's just the day that the Toads found her. And she's a little conflicted about where she was, where her family is, and like where she came from. And this is a moment I kind of liked from Peach, even though it wasn't much, and they don't really build onto it after this point, but it was like a genuine like moment for Peach, and her character, because she's like wondering where her family is and where she came from. It's like where she belongs. So I wish they expanded more about that, but it doesn't. So after that, a bunch of stars start falling from the sky, and one of those stars ends up crash landing near the castle, and that ends up being a Luma. And this Luma knows about Peach because of Rosalina telling so many stories about her, and she asks Princess Peach if she can help her save their mom, who's been captured by Junior. And they agree to help, and the Luma turns into like one of those star shoots from Galaxy. I can't remember what a launch star. And they end up flying into the galaxy to like go somewhere. I think the space station galaxy. I can't remember, guys. This movie is so sporadic. It's hard for me to remember some things in this movie. But moving on, she ends up leaving a note with Mario, saying that she's going to help this Luma find their mom, and then the Mario brothers stay to help, and they help the kingdom, and they go to chat with Bowser, who's been locked up in his own special little castle. He's becoming quite an artist, and he's working on his temper issues. He's trying to be a good guy, but it's still a work in progress, unfortunately. But after that, Junior ends up taking the castle right into space, and he ends up fighting with the Mario brothers to try to free his father. But then they end up crashing the castle into this planet, which I believe is a honey hive galaxy, but it's never really explained. We know there are bees there, so I'm assuming it's honey hive galaxy. But after that, Peach and Toad end up going to this space station where they see a poster of Rosalina, and Peach ends up having some memory flashbacks. But then this dirtbag of a monkey steals Toad's a bag, and they end up being in a secret hideaway for bad guys. I think it's never really explained what that area is. They just find a secret area and through an invisible wall or such, and they end up meeting like Wart and Birdo. It's cool to see Wart and all, but I have to question, why is he here and what purpose does he serve in the movie? Because after Peach gets mobbed by a bunch of enemies, and she ends up kicking the crud out of them, Wart is easily defeated by a turnip, and like he apparently knows where Rosalina's being held by the Space Junk Galaxy, and that's apparently where he said she was. But why does Wart know that, and what is his role in like Junior's army? Like Junior never mentions Wart at all in this movie, and somehow is he part of Bowser Jr.'s army? And if he is, like, what's he doing in the casino? Like, it's like I don't understand it. It just feels like Wart's just there for, again, fan service, like reference. I mean, he looks cool. He looks like a crime boss or something like that. But I don't see any reason why he would be here, because the movie doesn't really give him much of a purpose besides him knowing where Rosalina is. But moving on from that, we go back to the Mario brothers, who almost get captured by the Honey Hive Queen because they wrecked their place apparently, and Bowser ends up sacrificing himself so they can like go to like the space station where where Peach is at to go find Rosalina, to find a person to take her up into space. He ends up being captured, but then already immediately gets rescued by Junior. It's just like, what was the point of that? But we have a heartwarming scene with Junior and his father, and this is something I really liked about the movie. I think it was honestly one of my favorite parts. It was a heartwarming moment between Junior and Bowser, and how Bowser was telling his son a story about the Boomsday weapon with this cute little puppet show and all that. And you know, that generally made me smile. It's like, you know, despite Bowser being a big villain and all that, he is somewhat of a good father. Not a really good role model, but he is a pretty good dad, taking care of his son, telling him the stories and all that. But then we cut back to Mario. Well, not Mario, I mean Peach. Peach and Toad looking for like a pilot to help them go to take them to Space Junk Galaxy. And then they end up meeting, that's where they end up meeting Fox. Fox McCloud, yes, from the Star Fox series. He is in this movie. And this shouldn't be a surprise to some of you because they ended up spoiling Fox McCloud on Twitter. They're showing a post of him just posing and all that. And I thought that was like the stupidest thing they could have done because they already teased there was going to be a character that wasn't from the Mario series to be in this movie, but nobody knew who. But Illumination just said, bump it, let's get people hyped and show them Fox McCloud is going to be in this movie because it's a space movie, it's galaxy, so of course we gotta have a character who's all about flying in space, and what other character besides Samus is Fox McCloud? Yeah. And I think it sucks because, you know, it would have been a nice surprise to see Fox McCloud, you know, without getting spoiled by it, but for some reason Illumination just had to like spoil it for everybody on through Twitter. It's just like, why would they do that? You never do that for a movie you haven't seen before because nobody wants to get spoiled. That's just dumb. That's like, I don't know why they did that. You know, it's still kind of cool to see him in a movie. You know, this is the first time he's ever been in a movie, but it's also like, why is he there? It's just like he's not a Mario character. It kind of feels surreal seeing him there. I mean, when I see Fox, I kind of think Smash Brothers too. So, you know, there's another character in here that spoiling the head is Mr. Game & Watch. He's in here too. So, when I see these characters, I keep thinking Smash Brothers. So it's just like, okay, it can kind of work, but at the same time, it's just like, why are they there? These aren't Mario characters, man. This is a Mario movie, but it's whatever. But moving on from that, Mario ends up finding Peach, and they introduce Fox, and Fox agrees to take him to space. And then they immediately get ambushed by Bowser and Bowser Jr. And Jr. ends up turning the kids into babies. Not. I said kids. I'm sorry. The brothers into babies, and they end up crashing on the dinosaur island. Never mind the fact that they got turned to babies and yet they're somehow wearing diapers. What happened to their flipping clothes? And then we get this like pointless scene where Yoshi is going after the babies because they ran off, but he sees the super soak in the tree and he uses his tongue to swing up there, which is cool and all, but we see him like balancing and trying to reach for the scope with his hand, and I'm just like, my dude, you have a long tongue that you just used to get up there to get near the super scope. Use your tongue to get it down. What are you doing? You're flipping Yoshi. Use your tongue for God's sakes. Why are you trying to reach it with your arm? It's just dumb. And then Yoshi ends up waking the dinosaur with this loud Yoshi screech, and then the dinosaur wakes up, this long chase happens, and then Yoshi ends up getting almost eaten but saved by the super scope from the babies, and then the super scope ends up turning the babies back into adults with all their clothes and shoes. Again, don't question this, guys, because it's gonna hurt your head if you do, because the movie doesn't want you to question stuff. It just wants you to go with it, just like the last movie, because this movie is just go, 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 go. We can't stop. We can't explain things. We got to show things up because it's all flashy. It's all cool. It's full of references and stuff. We don't need to slow down. We don't need a deep story. We could just need a fast-paced story to keep kids excited, keep their eyes on the screen. You know, show off all these colors and stuff. Oh my god, I got. But anyways, the group gets stuck on the planet because they can't fix the air wing, and apparently Luigi ends up talking to this radio comm, and he ends up like reaching the common observatory somehow. I don't know. I don't know how or why they have a radio reference in the Common Observatory. And the weird thing about it is that one of the Lumas actually hears Luigi, but they don't actually hear Luigi's location. Because Luigi just ends up saying this is Luigi over and out, and the Lumas recognize Luigi's voice, Luigi, and then they somehow end up finding the game on this dinosaur planet. And for the record, these Lumas can drive, by the way, that huge common observatory. Like, how? It's just weird to me because these are kids, for God's sakes. Why is Rosalina teaching these kids how to fly a flippin' spaceship? And like, again, they don't. How did they know where the heck they were? They didn't hear Luigi say where they were or anything like that. It's just another inconsistent thing about this movie. But one of the inconsistent things that I really hate about this movie is what they did to Rosalina and her backstory. Because Peach ends up finding a book about her and Rosalina, and they end up. It says they end up being sisters in this movie. And I wasn't honestly surprised by this because I know where this concept came from. Because during the development of Super Mario Galaxy, Peach and Rosalina were at first going to be related, but it ended up scrapping the idea. So I kind of knew where the sister idea came from, so I'm not too shocked by it. But I'm just wondering, like, it's just like, why are we making them sisters? That's like, what point is it? Like, I don't get it, but you know, it is what it is. It's a different Mario universe and all that, so I'm trying not to question too much, but it just bothers me, man. It's weird how they change their backstory like this. And it's even weirder is it's just that continuing on with the backstory, they end up living peaceful on the planet because when they hold hands like this, they end up having cosmic powers. They can make nature flourish and all that stuff. Oh, did I forget to mention they were made of stardust? That's a weird thing too. That made me question, like, okay, if they're made of stardust, are their clothes made of stardust too? Like, why are they the only two people that are made of stardust? Can other people be born from stardust? It's freaking inconsistent, man. But moving on, apparently during their time on that planet, there was an evil purple force that ended up like wanting their powers for some reason. It's never really explained what this evil force was. Was it Bowser's army, or was it another evil entity entirely? Like, the movie never explains it. But Rosalina ends up taking Peach into this random warp pipe that she found. But she doesn't end up going with Peach for some reason. She just sends Peach herself through the pipe, and she ends up staying behind. And again, this movie just makes me keep asking questions like, why? Why did she have to leave behind? Why didn't she just go with Peach? What reason did she have to stay behind with this evil entity if they were trying to take their powers? It doesn't make sense. And what also doesn't make sense is that Rosalina apparently knew where Peach was this entire time they were separated, because she's been reading stories about her and the Mushroom Kingdom to the Lumas a bunch of times. And it makes me question, why didn't she just go and meet Peach if she knew where she was this whole time? God, guys, this movie really angers me sometimes because of how inconsistent some of these plot holes this movie has. This movie has so many flipping plot holes. It's just a mess. But let me finish the story so I can get to my complaints about this movie. And some positives. I do have some positives about this movie. It's all about complaints, but let me finish the story. So, okay, they end up getting to Planet Bowser and all that, and Fox ends up taking control of the Common Observatory. He's doing the Star Fox thing, you know, do a barrel roll, all that jazz. And they end up on a planet, and then they sneak in. They have a Mario Maker reference with Peach and Mario going through a lot of security obstacles that Bowser set up, but they end up conquering it, and Bowser ends up going to face them head on with two battle axes. And this is a nice little reference to like the first Mario game. I like how Mario had to use an axe to like chop the bridge down, and Bowser ends up dying in a dramatic way. It was actually kind of cool to see, I'm not gonna lie. And it was kind of sad to see Junior sad too, because he lost his dad. And, you know, Peach and Mario kind of feel bad because, you know, they didn't want to kill him, but he was going to kill them, so they kind of had no choice. But then Bowser ends up being alive, and he ends up turning into Dry Bowser, with Junior end up turning into Fury Junior. That's what it looks like. It reminds me a lot of Fury Bowser from Bowser's Fury, his design, and it looks pretty cool. And the two end up battling Mario, and with Peach going on ahead to try to save Rosalina, because, you know, the Boomsday weapon is sucking up all her cosmic energy or whatnot. And we end up getting a cool fight scene. You know, I kind of like the fight scenes that these movies have been making so far. It reminds me a lot of Super Mario Bros. Z, if you guys remember that old animation. Like, growing up, I used to watch a lot of sprite animations, and Super Mario Bros. Z was really up there, man. Like, I really enjoyed watching that series. I gotta go back and watch it. You know, it's been a long time, but that's what the fight scenes really remind me of. And I'm glad, like, Nintendo isn't shy about showing Mario and Luigi, like, show some punches, like, and kicks and all that, and making good use of their power-ups too. Like, I will commend them for that. They got these fight scenes pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. But, you know, keeping going, Junior ends up getting mad because Dry Bowser got, like, smacked by Mr. Game & Watch, drawn by Luigi. And Bowser Jr. ends up summoning, like, the giant Thunder Dragon from Odyssey, if you guys remember that dragon, which was pretty cool. But Junior ends up getting, like, betrayed by the dragon and eaten. And then Mario finds a random, like, question block and a red star in it, and he turns to Flying Mario, and he swings into the dragon to save Junior. This is the only time we see Mario do the galaxy spin, by the way. He doesn't do it again. That's, like, it was kind of sad. It was kind of lame, but, you know, he ends up saving Junior. It was nice to see Dry Bowser and Junior back together again. I like that moment. And this moment too, where Peach and Rosalina, honestly, I wasn't surprised by this moment at all, guys. I knew this was coming. Peach and Rosalina end up combining their powers with the power of sisterhood, I guess. Them holding hands, touching hands, whatever, I don't know. And then they break the capsule, they reunite, and then, you know, they have a sister bond, I guess, which doesn't last long. Like, I don't know, guys. I didn't really feel anything with this reunion. Like, Peach and Rosalina barely talk to each other in this movie at all. They only talk near the end. Like, that's it. And I guess this was this movie supposed to make me feel emotional during this part? Because I wasn't. I was just feeling, eh. Because they didn't give us time to get to know these characters, or Rosalina for that matter, who may I remind a lot of you, she has less screen time in this movie than Fox does. And that is just absurd, because this is the flipping Mario Galaxy movie. This is not the Star Fox movie. Rosalina should have been in this movie more than Fox should have. It just boggles my mind that they thought this was a good idea. Especially since it's her freaking debut in a Mario movie. And who knows if she'll appear in the next movie, which, of course, is going to be another Mario movie. That shouldn't surprise anyone. But I'm almost done with the story. I'm getting off track. So they save Rosalina, and, you know, they end up going to Mushroom Kingdom. The castle's gone. They end up rebuilding it in a cool Mario World sprite animation. I won't lie, it was pretty cool seeing them in Rosalina in that style. But then the movie ends with Mario getting a kiss from Peach, and then he puts the flag up with you know, he's got like a yellow cape feather. He's got like a yellow cape on his back, and he flies up, and that's where the movie ends. Kind of anticlimactic, if I'm not gonna lie. And then there's a post-credit scene where Fox goes back because Rosalina fixed up his ship. Apparently, she's a mechanic too. I didn't know that. But and then we see the Lumali, who ends up being a girl. Because if you guys remember in the last Mario movie, Lumali was actually called a he by one of the penguins. Because the Penguin King said, he is cute, but in this movie, Dry Bowser calls it a she, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Are they confused by what gender this Luma is? I mean, to me, she sounds like a girl, or like a girl Luma, so maybe they decided to change her to a girl. Maybe that would fit the voice better, but I don't know, it's just weird. But then there's like the post-credit scene where we see Daisy. Yeah, Daisy's in the last scene of the movie, and yeah, I didn't really feel much about that, unfortunately. It's cool to see her, but it's just like I'm just at this point, because the movie is just meh to me. Yeah, let me get into why let me get into why I didn't really feel too much with this movie, because honestly, I knew what I was going to get myself into when they showed the trailers for this movie, because they mostly just showed scenes from the movie. They didn't talk about story at all. They just showed stuff, like a lot of references and all that, and they didn't. And it made me assume that this was going to be just like the Mario Brothers, the first Mario movie, but just a bit worse, because they didn't really improve on anything, you know? And that's my biggest issue with this movie. It feels like I'm watching the first Mario movie again, you know? It's weird because this movie is titled Super Mario Galaxy, but it's not, to me, it's not a Galaxy movie. There's a lot of Galaxy elements in it, but it doesn't really feel like a Galaxy movie, because you know, it's doing some new things with it, like Rosalina's in there, cool, the Lumas, the Common Observatory and all that, but it just does a lot of things differently that doesn't really represent the Galaxy games at all, you know? Yeah, there's some flying in space and all that, but there's not much to it, because they mostly take ships or bugs to other planets and all that. They fly in the air and space 2 times. Yeah, it just didn't feel like a Galaxy movie to me. It was just a mess, guys. This movie is all over the place, just like the first movie. And again, one of the things that really ticked me off about this movie was Rosalina, because I hate that they changed her backstory, because she's one of the characters that actually has a really good, kind of deep backstory. You know, with her, meeting the Lumas, and stories about her mother, her brother, which we never really know who her brother was, and she's never mentioned in this movie, and her father and all that, but we learned that her mother was buried under the tree, and she ends up being an adopted mother to the Lumas. And apparently they added more backstory to her in one of the bundles for the Nintendo Switch 1 games of Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, and I thought that was neat. I didn't end up getting the game, but you know, I still think that was cool for them to add more story to her background, you know? And it's just for them to botch it by writing a whole new backstory for her, and it just feels worse to me, you know? And the whole Peach and Rosalina being sisters thing, I feel like it just wasn't needed. I know this is a new universe and all that, but I really don't think it's needed, and I don't think we need them to be sisters in the games, because apparently Miyamoto wanted to try to make it a thing, but I just don't see the point, man. It's just why do they need to be sisters? They don't need to be sisters, man. It's this movie was, again, it's fast paced. There's not much things to settle. And it's just it makes me wonder, why did they think this was such a good idea to do in the first place? It just feels like they didn't listen to any of the criticism from the first movie. It's people are not asking for a deep, dark story from Mario. They just want a really good story that they can get into, that will help them get into the characters and, you know, make them feel something, you know? Besides going on a sugar rush with full of references and such, which, again, this movie does, just like the first movie, but again, there are no moments in this movie that'll make you feel sad or like make you feel emotional or all that. It's just there to be like a Mario movie, like, you know, for like a sugar rush, you know, like the first movie. And it's just like, I hate that they didn't really improve on anything from the first movie. And I felt it, to me, it just feels like that they only listened to like the money the first movie made. And this movie definitely made a lot of money in the box office. I think it recently made like $1 billion, which is cool, I guess, but it makes me worried about the third movie overall, because I feel like they're going to do the same thing with the third movie and just make it fast paced. We gotta go, 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 with nothing to sit down and settle for a bit. Like, it doesn't want to slow down, you know? It's just like, please, why can't you let these movies breathe, Nintendo Illumination? Like, why does everything have to be so fast paced? And I know Miyamoto explained why he made these movies fast paced in the first place, but I still think it's dumb, because, you know, I mean, kids, I know there are some kids that are going to be like, you know, they're hopped up, they're full of energy, they want to move around and such, and, you know, if nothing's like interesting on the screen, then they're not going to want to sit there and watch it, you know. But, you know, not all kids are like this, you know, and kids are actually very, very smart. And I've also heard the argument that, you know, this is a kids movie, you shouldn't really expect much from it, which I think it's dumb, because have you guys seen any of the old Disney movies, or Puss in Boots: The Last Wish for that matter? Puss in Boots especially, because not only was that movie visually stunning, it had a really good story that could cater to both kids and adults. And again, all the old Disney movies too. There was Toy Story, Monsters Inc., flipping Cars. And I just hate when there are people out there that say you can't criticize this movie and don't listen to the critics because, you know, they don't know how to enjoy a good movie. And I think that's dumb, because everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And I know there are some critics out there that do make some dumb reviews, but there are also critics out there that are just doing their jobs and they actually want to see these movies improve. I'm really not asking for a deep story here, guys. I just really want to see these movies improve, you know, and actually be movies, because I really don't see these as movies, you know, because a movie is supposed to tell a compelling story that's not only fun and to watch, you know, with pretty colors and all that, but also give you a little message, you know, make you feel something as you're watching it, you know, to keep you hooked. And, you know, the Mario Galaxy movie does keep you hooked, you know, because you want to see the references and all the Nintendo stuff and all that, but it can only keep you hooked for so long. And once you start really getting into it, you'll be asking yourself, like, why did they think this movie was such a good idea in the first place? Especially the Galaxy fans, because I know Galaxy fans are just like wondering, why is this even called the Galaxy movie? Because this has nothing to do with Galaxy at all. And it sucks that, again, I think it sucks that they just didn't improve from the first movie. And I feel like they're going to do the same thing with the third movie. And it just makes me lose hope with these movies if they're going to keep going forward with making more Mario movies and such. Because everybody knows the third movie's in the works with how much money this movie made in the box. So, and it's just like, you know, I'll be there to see the third movie, at least. You know, I am curious to see if they will actually improve from this movie. But, you know, I'm not going to be as excited for it, you know, like, you know, for the last two movies, you know, because unless they show some actual story stuff and not just like stuff happening in with the background and action stuff, then I'm just going to be like, this is just going to be another movie, man. And, you know, with Daisy in there, I'm still kind of hoping that another character being here, like my boy Wario, you know, I'll be happy to see him on the screen and all that. But I will say this, if they end up like messing him up like they did for Rosalina, like he somehow gets less screen time in this movie, if he ends up being in a third movie, then I'm just gonna be done with these movies, guys. I'm not gonna lie, because you mess up Rosalina, okay, sure, I can try to get past that, but when you mess up my #1 favorite character, then that crosses the line, man. I'm done with it. I'll be done with these movies if that ends up happening. If he ends up being in the movie, but if he does and they screw him up, then that's it. I'm done. I'm not watching these movies anymore. I just could not care, because they apparently don't care, and all they care about is the money, because money talks, and that's the only thing they're hearing, because apparently they don't like criticism and they won't improve from these movies. That's what I feel like anyway, because shoot, it's just like, God, this movie, just watching through it, guys, it hurted my head so many times. I watched it like 5 to 6 times. It's just like, it just left me with so many questions. But again, the movie does have stuff I do like. It's visually beautiful to look at, which the first movie was beautiful too, so that's not saying much. But I did like the characters. They all look good, and you know, the voices were good too. I mean, most of them were the same, of course, but you know, they were good too. Donald Glover, I believe that's his name, as Yoshi. It was a bit irritating at first, but you know, I got used to it, and you know, it's just like Yoshi's good, though I feel bad for Yoshi too, because he didn't really have much purpose in this movie. He's just there. He's like a third Mario brother, you know, so it's just like, I wish they did more with him to give him more importance, especially for Rosalina too. I wish they did the same thing for her, but no, it is what it is, you know. So this is the movie we got. This is the Galaxy movie, apparently. So I mean, again, this movie still gained a ton of money despite all the criticism it's been getting so far, and I know people are still talking about it to this day. So it's just like, I don't feel too bad like making this video about it, being so late to talk about it. But yeah, guys, bottom line, I didn't really like this movie as much. It's not a bad movie. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen. No, far from it. But to me, it's just there. I didn't hate it. I didn't like it. It's just there for me. And all I can hope is that they improve for the third movie, which I highly doubt they will, but you know, it's a man can dream, right? So those are my like sporadic thoughts about the Mario movie. I know I sound like I was all over the place with this one. I had a hard time like trying to come up with my thoughts. I had to edit some parts out to try and breathe, because gosh, this movie did not let me breathe watching through it, just going speeding through it like Sonic speed. Which, speaking of Sonic, I think those movies are better fast-paced than these Mario movies, which is crazy to say because Sonic's all about speed, yet Mario is blazing through his movies like crazy. And I think the Sonic movies have better pacing and better storytelling. Ain't that crazy? Sorry I immediately get into Sonic, but I feel like I had to bring that out, because I feel like those movies are doing a lot better than Mario movies. But even though I do think the Mario movies are more visually stunning than the Sonic movies, I think the Sonic movies have better story and better pacing than the Mario Brothers movie. But that's just my feeling though. But let me know what you guys think about the Mario Galaxy movie. Did you actually enjoy this movie despite its flaws? Did you hate it? And with this, because of its flaws, let me know about it in the comments below. And like, just to be clear, if you enjoyed this movie despite its flaws, like, more power to you. You can definitely like this movie all you want. To me personally, I just didn't like it as much. I didn't like what they did with Rosalina in this movie. I hate that she didn't have as much screen time, and for some reason Fox did. And I just hate that it didn't improve anything from the first movie, especially with its flipping pacing. That's my issue. I hate how fast this movie goes with everything, and nothing slows down to build up momentum, you know, excitement for the next scene, you know, but no, it has to keep going. And I hate that about this movie. And the galaxy stuff too. It's like the movie just doesn't feel like a galaxy movie. So why is it called a galaxy movie? And, you know, I doubt we'll see Rosalie in the next movie, and if she will be in the movie, she'll likely just be a background character, not to speak much, kind of like Donkey Kong was in here. Like, yeah, Donkey Kong's in this movie, but he's only in like one scene, that's it. But, you know, here's hoping she'll be in the next movie, and maybe if Wario's in there, they can both interact somehow. I doubt it, but, you know, again, American dream. But yeah, guys, I want to stop now before I just go all over the place with this movie like this movie has. But again, let me know what y'all thought about in the comments below, and share your thoughts about the movie if you've seen it or not. But that's gonna be it for me, guys. I definitely need to stop and get some sleep because I am tired of talking about this movie. But until next time, guys, I hope you all have a fantastic rotten day, and I hope to see you all in the next video. So remember to stay safe out there, and as always, peace.